taking a lot of money from investors and not hearing from them. Somebody else said they gave them, had almost 30 million with him. Another person said they had almost 70 million. Another one said the company had almost $1 billion with them and the office is currently closed down.
Yeah.
So people are, they're here, they've absconded from the country. And they're saying there's even some companies that have invested money with them. There are a couple big churches and so on. I haven't verified this. So, that's the reason why I'm not mentioning names. But
I can tell you for free, Rotus, that it's true. What you read about and what you're saying is true. Because I'm very much aware of this couple.
Okay, you've heard about what happened, yeah?
Yeah, and somebody close to me invested in that company as well. So I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
big
time. They had the offices sited in Abuja, which was known to everybody, but as it is, or as it were, they are nowhere to be found, which is interesting.
Yeah. Look, so again, as I've told people in the past, when you always ask questions, ask questions how, again, when somebody's telling you they can give you 10% per month on a monthly basis, you have to ask questions as to how they are getting that 10%. Although, again, he was lending the money to traders and then getting returns. So it's kind of reasonable because there are some companies that do the same thing. They lend at a very high rate, and then they take the spread, which is the difference between what they are offering an investor for an investment and the difference between that and the loan that they make to other investors. They take that as their profit. So, if you think about it, it's not like he was offering people. And then the thing is, it's still high. 10% a month is still high. That's per month. That is really high. So, look, I apologies to anyone who was caught up in that. You just look, if you are investing in all these things, you always want to ask yourself, what happens if things go wrong? What happens if I lose all my money? Who can I run to? I think there's a song by Escape. Was it? Who can I run to?
What I'm curious to know, Rotus, is first of all, I think it's to be said, to be fair, that these guys, the Imagine Global that you mentioned, that they paid dividends. They've been paying dividends for a while to those that I know of monthly, as agreed.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so they had the documentation, everything checked out. They were upfront in their payments and quite prompt.
That's how these schemes. That's how these schemes start out. I mean, you for a while you're getting your money, but at a regular pace, and then one day they disappear.
Yeah. They present themselves as microfinancing, a microfinancing front for small business owners, SMEs, precisely, the likes of market women, small business owners that own stores, and people who would probably just want to start their businesses. So they've been funding, and they had a strong presence on Instagram. So it wasn't something that seemed clandestine at the time. And it's interesting to see this. I'm surprised to hear this news as much as we're talking about it on radio.
Yeah. So the thing is, and again, I can't fault anybody. Hindsight is 2020. Now that I'm hearing about this, I'm bringing up questions. But maybe during the time it would have been tough. But the thing is this: if you are lending to traders, market women, so on, what happened to trader money, right? So you have to go back and say, what is the capacity? You're lending to traders and you're lending to market women at 22%. What is the capacity of a trader or a market woman to be able to make that payment back successfully? So you can almost start to see the tenets of a Ponzi scheme here, where they are collecting money from different investors and claiming they are lending it over to traders and so on, and then getting the returns and paying back the investors from the proceeds from the loan payments. Remember, we've just come out of a recession. Traders have been hit hard. Market women have been hit hard. They're not selling as much, right? So the ability for them to be able to make a payment back on those types of loans is questionable. And again, I'm saying this now because I'm hearing about the news, and so my brain is focused on poking holes in the investment structure. It may not have been, if you had come to me before this happened. I mean, I'll probably have the same questions, but again, are you registered with the necessary regulators in order to get full recourse in case your money gets lost. You got to just watch out. I mean, if you're getting dividends on a monthly basis at 10%,
yeah.
Again, we like, things are tough in this country, and when you're getting those type of returns, I mean, somebody there said that because he used to work at a bank, won't mention where the bank is, but his colleague quit. The colleague quit from the bank, and because of the money he was making so much money, put all this money back in with the guy, and now the guy has disappeared. And they say, okay, I think that's it. Saying he's suicidal now because he's almost lost everything. So
that's a lot of money.
I understand the Nigerian mindset, and I understand how tough it is in this country when you get an opportunity where you're making money on something. You want to squeeze it and milk it as much as possible because you want to take care of your children, you want to have a good life, you don't want to suffer. But which is why we have politicians who get into office and only think about themselves and their family members and so on and so forth. Life is hard here, but just because it shouldn't make you vulnerable to these types of things. And we want to get so much money too quickly from these investments, and that doesn't allow us to think clearly. Every time one of these stories pops up, right? Every time one of these stories pops up, we always say, you should have known better. I hope this serves as a deterrent for people who are in another investment. But then another story will pop up, which is why I make it a point to make it an issue on this show to talk about these things. I hope lesson is learned here, but Val, in another how many months, we'll probably be talking about another scam again. So best of luck to people,
Well, as you mentioned, trader money got me thinking, couldn't the federal government rein in on these sort of investments to, ensure enough security, financial security for its citizens? If you set up stuff like trader money or some of these social interventionist programs, we've asked the question over and over again, how far-reaching is this, or are these schemes? Are they directed at certain people because of nepotistic intentions, or are you doing proper research into, figuring out how many people or what areas really need these monies or these supports, this financial support, so that it can spread across the country? It's not enough to focus on a particular area. I know, focus groups are important, but after you set up the first tranche of these funds or interventionist programs, what are the lessons you picked from that first experience, and how do you spread it across? What are the metrics of the success of the first of the initiative when it started, and how far-reaching?
Great.
So I mean, if there's social security, what is social security really?
Right.
Let's get down to the basis. I mean, let's take messages. A lot of them are streaming in here. On WhatsApp, this one here says, from Daniel, how can you give returns of 10% monthly when you lend at 22% per annum? It's already a mismatch. Dakwa says, thank you very much. Ahmed, he said, the attitude of running away with investors' money is really discouraging potential investors. That's how I invested in Quorn. And up to now, I haven't received my money. The due diligence was done and the company is registered. Does it mean that once they run away, they can't be caught? I don't think so. I think they can be caught. Otunuga Sunday says, any of these microfinancing institutions not under the supervisory purview of CBN and NDIC are dangerous and holds high possibility of default and total loss of investments in the long run. D from Alausa says, what is the role of the Security and Exchange Commission in all of this? Good question there. Rotus, any insight?
Yeah, so Security and Exchange Commission, I mean, so the thing is, I hear this was a microfinance bank or something, or, because it was IMG Solutions. The name doesn't really suggest that it were tailored towards investments. And it sounds like this was something, like the microfinance bank part, that is under the CBN. The SEC part, I guess, that makes it tricky. I'm not really sure they would have fallen under the purview of SEC, but if they're offering investments openly to people, then yes, they would fall under the SEC's purview. But very quickly, the point I really wanted to make about why I brought up trader money was because most of the trader money was loans, and there were loans as low as 10,000 Naira that were made to traders. But those monies were never paid back. At least a majority of them were not paid back. So I use trader money as an example as a backdrop to say that, look, if you are presented with an investment opportunity where the person tells you that I'm lending money to traders and the money I get back from them is what you will get as your return, that should raise a red flag because of an example like trader money, where not that was the government giving out money and not all that money. Or maybe trader money is a bad example because that was just supposed to win votes and it was never meant for the money to come back. Who knows? Point is, it's not a good premise to use as an investment, structure for people. So please, everybody listening, just be careful. Ask questions, reach out to me, send a message. Look, because you can't be losing money at this point. It's a tough time out there. There's school fees to be paid, bills to be paid. If I lost 70 million, I might jump off a building, So, well, I don't really mean like that. Not to put any idea anybody's head, but you just want to be careful.
There's never enough money to take one's life. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. You can always make it back. Right?
Yes, you can always make it back. So Yinka Bulu says 10% a month. I've always said it. Nigerians are very hardworking, but mentally lazy. Yinka, you can't say that because most of the time, our premise or rather due diligence relies on hearsay or rather personal experience. So usual referrals from person to person, mouth to mouth, usually enough, to encourage a lot of people to make these kind of investments. Jumoke, I don't think you heard right. Jumoke insinuates that we said CAC is regulatory company. No, we said SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, not CAC. CAC is a registration company for Nigerian businesses as well.
Correct.
Yinka says, even the agro guys, have you seen how much they're offering as returns? In this economy, that all of us are in. It's scary. I'd rather invest in stocks. Well, Yinka said different strokes for different folks, yeah? But as always, Rotus always encourages us to do our due diligence before making such investments, even if you hear it from him.
Correct, exactly. And so Yinka's point, Yinka has been saying this for years. So Yinka is a seasoned investor. He knows what questions to ask, which is why he's saying that, I guess it's the get rich quick thing or the desperation to make money that's causing people to fall victim to these things. So people like him are the kind of people who, whenever they hear these stories, like, why does this keep happening again and again and again? Aren't people paying attention? So we just have to keep doing our jobs to educate people. That's what we have to try and do.
Thank you so much. Stay with us here. If you missed any part of the show, please always go to YouTube